Hi, my name is Cynthia Davis, and welcome to Worldview Talk Show. And today we have back with us again is Miss Gwen Carr, the mother of Eric Garner. And we spoke the last time you were here a little bit about the Garner's Way Foundation, and I think time ran out on us, so we just want to speak more on that foundation because you're doing such great work in the community and across the country. So, can you tell us a little bit about the foundation?
Yes. Well, we're trying to put things together where we can help others, and we want to make the brand ERIC, and that's eliminating racism and injustice collectively. We took Eric's name and we made an antonym out of it.
Wow.
And so this is what we want people to recognize, that this is what we are working with now, and adjacent with the Garner Way Foundation. And anyone who wants any further information could send any kind of email. They could send it to allbets@aol.com, which is ALLBETZ, like in zebra, at AOL.com. And, we will answer you and give you information that you might need to know or want to know. And there's all types of things that we're doing. We are bringing mothers together. We're trying to embrace mothers who have lost their children through senseless violence and through police violence. We're trying to do a reentry program for the prisoners who's been away for so long, and now they need help once they come back. There's so many things that we have in the works, and it's all about trying to help the community and help empower the nation.
That's terrific. And that re-entrance program is so very important.
Yes.
Because too often, there are people who come out of prison and they get caught back up into the same thing that took them in there in the first place.
That's so true.
And so now, your mission with the Garner's Way Foundation, what is I know you do a lot of things, including right now, I know for a fact that you feed people all the time. You go to different parks, even outside of what you did with the mothers, even when the cameras aren't there.
That's true.
I know that you feed people and you do so many other things that you haven't stopped working. And I would like for people to know that this is a family that have continued to work over the past 3 years, even when the cameras are not there, even when all the politicians are not there. They're out there in the community, and they're doing so many things to help so many different people, and I just wanted to thank you for that. But in general, I know that also Brother Ben, who he's not here today, he's a little under the weather, and I'm wishing him well. I know in general that he also wanted to add it to the foundation. He is a great cook, by the way.
Oh, yes, he is.
And that's another thing that I think he said maybe a part of the foundation is that he wanted to travel to different communities on different days and feed, go in areas of the park and feed homeless people.
Yes. Yes, and just go in general. All you would have to do is ask him. He loves to cook his fish.
Oh, yeah.
His fresh fried fish. And he thinks nobody else can cook it better than him, and he's always wants to serve it up. And a lot of people gave to us, and we want to give back to the community. A lot of people helped us, you included, the National Action Network with Reverend Sharpton. We got great help from a lot of people. So we think it's not robbery to try to help people when they are in need.
I think that's a great thing, Sister Carr, because so often, again, too many times there are people who have tragedies, and you didn't ask for your situation. It's an unfortunate thing that happened, but a lot of times things happen with families, and once a year or so later, you never hear from them again, and they have disappeared, and you never know how they're doing.
That's true.
Yeah, but you all have stayed to the forefront. I know for a fact that you go to the National Action Network. You help them out there. They form you up as one of the one of the mothers of the movement, mothers of the movement, and I think that's so important because you're very inspirational, and it's just such a wonderful thing what you're doing. You haven't skipped a beat since this tragedy, and I know it cannot be easy, and you're keeping Eric's memory alive through this foundation, which is going to continue to help people and save lives, hopefully.
Yes, and that's exactly what we're hoping it will do. It's too late for my son and a lot of the mothers' sons, but we're trying to save those young men and young women who's out here, people of color, where they don't think that we are a whole human being. And we have to teach them, we must encourage them to encourage themselves. And we shouldn't have to be afraid to walk out here. We should be as proud as any other human being. And we must teach them that as parents, as teachers, just as people, we need to teach them that they are no less than anyone else, and they shouldn't be treated any less than anyone else. So as long as I have breath in my body, I will try to keep I will keep my son's name alive. I will always call his name. I will let people know who he was, who he is to me. So I can't sit down and just shrivel up and then tomorrow nobody remembers who Eric Garner was.
So I know, so it won't bring every back, but it could save a lot of other lives, and his dying won't be in vain.
Exactly.
And it saves a lot of lives. So what you're doing kind of reminds me of something that I read recently, I think on social media, where someone quoted Arthur Ashe, and they were, that when they asked him, God, when, he died of, I think, maybe AIDS or something like that, from blood transfusion.
Right, yeah.
And they were asking God, why would you give him such a horrible disease? And he said to them, when he was was playing his game, that so many other people benefit, so many other people were able to cross the barrier, so many other people made it, in the sports, the tennis sport, and that he didn't ask God then why, did he give him that talent? So so things happen for a reason. Sometimes things happen and it make people stronger, and it save other people's lives. And I know in the direction that you're headed into, I know that a lot of people look up to you, and with this Garner's Way Foundation, I'm sure that you're going to do so many different things for so many different people, and save a lot of young people's lives.
Yes, that is my goal. We don't want one other mother to join this club. This club is not a popular club. We would like for the mothers to enjoy their children, to see them grow up, to see what they become. And this is my goal, because it's just heartbreaking, because every time a young man is struck down, it just reminds me of my son. It's like killing my son over and over again, and this has to stop. At one point or other, it has to stop.
Now you spoke at the beginning about, now you said Eric. Can you explain that again, Eric?
Oh, yes. We're using, like Eric's name, ERIC, E.R.I.C. That's eliminating racism and injustice collectively.
Injustice collectively.
Yes.
Wow, that's the. Now, is this that now? Is it a part of the Garner's Way Foundation?
Yes, in fact, this is where we're going. We want to use that brand instead of Garner Way Foundation. We want to use the antonym of Eric because his initials have such great meaning in those initials. And I just sat down one day and just did it. It just came. I was inspired, and this is what came to me from his name.
But God, you know, they
but
say that.
God.
But God.
That is so true. Without him, I wouldn't be standing because I should have lost my mind a long time ago. But leaning on the everlasting arm, I'm able to stand, I'm able to speak, I'm able to reach out and try to help others. And maybe I was left here for a reason, I don't know, but you know, I just know I can't stop because even though my son is gone, but he's here with me, he has a place in my heart forever. And with that, I must always, always remember what happened to him and try not to let it happen to another person if it's in my power.
Now, I know that you get many offers to speak at different engagements. And I know it's because you are who you are. Again, such a strong and inspirational person. Like you said, I'm sure that God have you here for a reason. Because many days, me personally myself, I think about you, and when I think I'm having a difficult time, and I'm saying, oh, no, wake up. No, don't you even dare to begin to complain. You know, you look up to a person like yourself, and you know, and what you went through. And just if someone wanted you for a speaking engagement, maybe it might be something that you're interested in. There's something that's going to help other people. How would they contact you for that? Would they?
They could use that same email, the ALLBETZ@AOL.com. If they would like me to speak, or where they would like me to speak, or when they would like me to speak, because I try to go where I'm needed. Try to go and make a difference. I have spoke at several schools. I've spoke at different events, NAACP events. I went to an Indian reservation, which was really, really inspirational up in Foxwood. And I spoke there, and the people were so loving and so inviting there. And, you know, I learned more history about Indians than I've ever known. And sometimes it's just disheartening to see what they have done to the Indians, what they did to the Indian. It's just like us. They just came and they treated us like we were nobody. And, you know, years ago when we would look at cowboys and Indians, the cowboys always won. They always made the Indians out like being the bad person. Now, when you really look at history, how it really went, Indians were not the bad people. They were here, and here comes another man trying to take over what they already had. So, you know, we have to look at history. We can't just listen to propaganda. And if you're ever in Connecticut, up in Foxwood, please go to the Indian Museum that they have there. It is awesome, and it is worth going to. I tell everyone, it will not disappoint you.
Now, see, just that alone, you see, a lesson learned for a lot of people. You know, I kind of know what you just spoke about, not as deeply as you do, because I never actually been to the reservation, but just through the work that you are doing. See, you're inspiring people all across the board, and you're learning so much about other people and their culture and their history. And it's unfortunate, like I said, that, you know, it's because, you know, of what happened, but God has plans for everybody, and He works in mysterious ways.
So true.
And I know for a fact, I know people personally who talk about you all the time and just speak about, you know, how much you give them an uplift, and how much, you know, you make them get up and go and feel like doing something and want to do something. So again, I want to thank you for that, and I know that the E.R.I.C. and you know the foundation. I'm sure that it's going to touch plenty of lives, and I just want to keep reiterating it because I want people to know and hear repeatedly what we're saying, because I would love for people to email you and get in contact with you.
Yes.
And if anyone wanted to be a part, I guess, volunteer with the work that you have coming up. Are you going to be accepting volunteers?
Oh, definitely. I definitely accept volunteers because there's a lot of work to be done out there. And I can't do it alone.
Right.
The people in my family, we can't do it alone. We always welcome help, you know, because there's a lot of knowledge out there. There's a lot of skills out there, and we welcome that.
Yeah, you have a beautiful family. Actually, your entire family is beautiful. It's an honor that I got the chance to meet you all. But again, I know I sound, I'm repeating the same thing. But once again, I'm sorry that I met you under the circumstances. But I'm happy, and on the same note, that I got a chance to meet you, unique, one of a kind, not an everyday person. I'm sorry, whoever. I just pray and hope that I'm not offending anyone, but it's just like how they say they don't make things a certain way anymore. You just don't find too many people. I don't. I can only speak for me personally, and I'm out there. It's hard to find good, honest, sincere people nowadays.
That is so true.
It's very rare.
That is so
Even
true.
if you've been knowing people for a long time, but you're a rare person, and anybody who have some event that's coming up that's going to benefit children, anyone that's listening, seniors, or anyone, even people that are on the street or whatever. And if you need someone who's sincere and from the heart, I suggest that you get in contact with this lady, because you will not regret it. Everybody loves Gwen. I'm telling you. And a lot of other mothers I had the occasion to work with. You all are some powerful women. You really are, and you were all the time. And it's something how you all end up coming together. But you're already powerful people out there doing things for people. Always been good folks. So you get to know people sometimes under different circumstances. And this lady, she's always been out there. She's always been helping people. She's always been sincere, and she have not skipped beat. Miss Gwen, let me ask you, I know that Brother Ben is not here today, so let me make sure that I keep mentioning him as well.
Okay.
Brother Ben, you all are so much alike. I run a food pantry, and Brother Ben, he's there 4 days a week actually now, because we have one day set aside for dogs and cat day. So he's there for that too, and I know for a fact that it drives him. He's doing it in the name of Eric, and a lot of what he's doing is because he want to be there to give back. He talk about it, and he said all the time, that he's there to give back, and it's just so heartwarming and touching the way you all work like you do, and a lot of people, including myself, can learn a lesson from your family, and especially from you, Miss Gwen. And I cannot emphasize that enough.
Yeah, like I said, we do like to give back. I mean, we were taught. Well, I know I was taught. My mother was a very giving person. We lived on a street that was very close knit, a street called Warren Street, and everybody tried to help each other. It wasn't a sin to go and borrow a couple of eggs or a cup of flour from a neighbor, because this is what we did. And even the people who was less fortunate, we had people who didn't have a place to stay, or they had a limited place to stay. She would always pass our leftovers, our food, to them and make sure that they ate. She always wanted to make sure that everyone ate. So growing up, I kind of inherit that no one should be hungry if I could help it, and everyone should have food on their table. So if I have something, someone come and ask me, or they tell me that they don't have something, I think it not robbery to go in my freezer and give them something to eat, or here, take this. This should last you for 3 days, or until. Or some people say, oh, I don't get my food stamps for another 3 days or next week. So I'll give them. I say, well, this should last you. Is this enough to last you until you get your food stamps? And I mean, that's the way that we were raised, and I'm so glad, because some people, they just feel like anything they get, they're supposed to keep it all for themselves.
Oh, yes, definitely.
And that's not the way it should be.
It should not be that way. You're right about that.
And with the mothers that I'm with, I galvanize with many, many mothers. And the mothers, just to get together, it's a beautiful thing. We laugh, we cry, we talk. Sometimes we text each other in the middle of the night. It's a bond that we form between each other. And I am just, being that I was thrust into this situation, and they were thrust into this situation, you couldn't find better people. And most of the people that I deal with, most of the mothers, these mothers, they had normal lives until this happened. Now, this is their life. For some people, it's just a news story. But this is our life. Every day we live this.
Right. And I would like to say this, Ms. Gwen. I know it's a different topic just a little bit, but this is just a prime example of the way Eric was raised and the family that I'm glad that you brought this up, because people need to hear. Because sometimes people don't hear, don't know.
That's true.
When something happened to people, sometimes people just think that, well, why were they? They don't look at them as coming from a loving and a warm family, because they just don't know. And this is an opportunity right here where people get a chance to know and see how Eric grew up. And he was a loving person just like you are.
Yes, he
because,
was.
with the work that I do, I interviewed my activism. I interviewed many people, including from the social service office, from check cashing, from a lot of the businesses, as well as people who, lived and hung in the area. And they said the same thing about Eric. His personality is just like your person. It's just like your personality.
He had a great personality.
The same way. I just want you all to know what you see here now from Ms. Gwen. I didn't get the chance to know Eric, but I'm telling you what you see here now from Ms. Gwen, his mother. I got the same thing about him from hundreds of people that I interviewed in that area. And all of the businesses knew him and loved him. People in the social services office knew him and loved him because they used to come outside for their break.
Yes.
So he was very well known as in the area, and a lot of people say he was a big teddy bear, and that's what a lot of people call him, the big teddy bear.
Yeah, a lot of people that I didn't even know he knew, and when after his death, they said, "Oh, you're Eric's mother." Or some people knew both of us and didn't know that he was my son.
Right.
And they says, "Oh wow," says, "I didn't know you was Eric's mother." And I says, "Yes." And even some ministers, or the minister that used to have the pantry on Victory,
Reverend
Lane. Yeah, he told me, he says, it hurt him so bad when he heard about Eric's death, because he says every time he would see Eric, he would stop and have a conversation with him, and he said he would try to give Eric some of the food from the pantry, and Eric would tell him, "No, I got enough, you give it to someone else, yeah, I have enough." And he says, and every time they said goodbye, he said Eric never said goodbye. He would just say, "Spread the love, Rev, spread the love." And Reverend Lamb, he shared this with me, and it just warmed my heart to know that, he felt so strongly about Eric too. Because Eric, he grew up in a religious home. My father was a minister, and since Eric had lost his father at such a young age, my father stepped right in and taught him the way that he should go. And my family, they really, really, they loved each other, they loved us, and there was nothing that my parents wouldn't do for my children, and they knew it. And they grew up, and sometimes when we talk about it, or when they would say about what happened when they were at grandma's house and whatnot, or we did this and we did that, and they just said that they had they loved the way that they grew up.
And yes, and I'm telling you, Eric was blessed to grow up in a family like yours, and I just wish, and I don't want to sound like I'm going from one thing to the other, that he, from what I got through the people that spoke about him and outside of family, I wish that a lot more of the children, and especially certain communities, got the opportunity to grow up in a home like Eric did. So, he was a good person. He came from a good family, and it's just unfortunate that what happened.
Yes, and he did have a good education. A lot of people don't realize that Eric did go to college. Spent a lot of money on that boy. But, I didn't mind it because I think I was more excited about him going to college than he was himself. Because I was, every day when I go to work, I was shopping. I was working over there by Chambers Street near where the World Trade Center is. And every day I'm in the stores and Century 21s all over just buying. He needs this, he needs that to go. And it just gave me a great feeling that my firstborn was going to college.
I'm sure it did.
Yes.
Yeah, following his mother's footsteps, who was a college graduate.
Yes.
Yes.
Where
did you graduate from school?
New York City Technical, and then I went to Polytech University for a while.
And you are, I heard about you. You're a wonderful accountant too. And the reason I'm going to these places is because I just like to put, just the human side on situations and people, so people won't think that, why, people always, a lot of people get the wrong idea and the wrong understanding. So, you have your foundation now, and we want people to come out and support. We want people to know that this is real. This foundation is real.
Yes.
And it's being ran by real people, real good people.
Yes.
So we just want to make sure that people understand that. You know. So we want give that information out again. We're going to do it several times.
Oh, okay. It's allbetz@aol.com. You can get in touch with me, and we are going under the brand of ERIC, Eliminating Racism and Injustice Collectively. That's what the initials stand for.
Oh, wow. That's terrific. But what I would like to do also, I would like for the public, anyone who's listening, I would like for us to get into maybe just a well-wishing campaign. Even if you could just get in contact to wish this foundation and the family well. I would like to blow up that email. We want to hear from everybody. We want you to write in and stand behind this lady. Support her. Stand behind this family. She's been through so much. And she's still going through a lot, and I'm sure for the rest of your life, like you said, that's your son. Every day is one step at a time.
Yes.
And I just want, and I would like for the public to continue to throw their support behind this family.
I would appreciate that very much.
Yes, write to her, email her. Let that family know that you're still behind them, you still love them, and you still support them 100%.
Yes.
Because, especially Staten Islanders, because, this is where their home is, and this is where the foundation is going to be ran out of Staten Island. So we're going to need, and she's going to need, that family is going to need your support. And like she said, you could come out and volunteer, get involved.
Yes.
I hear a lot of people saying all the time that this is one of the biggest things that happen here on Staten Island in terms of injustices. So get behind your words. Show action. Show action. And anything you could do to help Miss Gwen and the foundation, I'm sure it would be greatly appreciated.
Yes.
Like she said, she's going to need volunteers eventually,
That's true.
And she can come to you. If you have something that you're doing, she could come out to support you. True. And if any other family members are listening, you could contact her who may have gone through situations that we didn't hear about. So that is about it today. Thank you so much, Ms. Gwen Carr, for coming to the show. My name is Cynthia Davis, and thank you all for listening and watching.